I think it's safe to assume that every fighter or every martial artist wants to fight like their hero, their favorite fighter, until they realize some styles are not suited for them. Some fighters out there are genetic freaks, but there are fighters whose techniques are so solid, so adaptable, that anyone can copy them. And copying these guys may actually make you better, even if you're not in the UFC. So this video, this is my top 5 fighters in the UFC who I think you should copy. And stick around to the end, and I will reveal the fighter who almost made the list, but didn't, for a reason that may surprise you. So if you're new here, this is my Copycat Fighter series where I break down fighting styles and we get to learn what really works and test them out. So if you like learning the why behind how fighters win, hit that subscribe button and let's dive in. So let's begin with number 5 on my top 5 fighters who I think you should copy. So at number 5, I have Dustin Poirier. He may be southpaw and not every fighter is left-handed, but his fundamentals are textbook. He builds everything around a clean jab and a nice high guard to protect himself while mixing in some heavy combinations. He has good hands and he's well-rounded. He has a great, fantastic ground game. He does jump the ghillie a lot, so this is probably why I only have him at number 5. The beauty of his style, it's realistic. You can actually spar like Poirier. You won't be using any fancy footwork. He keeps it very simple. Short, baby steps, stepping in when he needs to, evading, rolling with punches, but he also has a lot of heart, so it's someone you can be motivated to get behind and use if you need to dig in deep fighting your opponents. Just don't get in that habit of always fixing your shorts every time you're in a pocket. What we can learn from Poirier is rhythm. Focus on rhythm, precision. You also have steady pressure and nice small defensive movements. He also has high percentage counters. He doesn't chase knockouts, he builds towards them. Rounding out at number 4, I have Max Holloway, a great fighter who we can look up to and even copy. Now he may be a BMF, but doesn't mean we can't borrow a lot of his tactics and skills. I'm not talking about when he's willing to trade with an opponent. That takes somebody special. But the skills overall that he has that we can borrow from are his composure and his ability to use his cardio and volume. It's how he makes his boxing for MMA work. He's not the heaviest hitter, but he knows how to land with precision and volume. Max's boxing for MMA blends in the perfect mix of precision, timing, and distance management. And here's the part that most people miss out. He never overcommits, or rarely does. Every punch he has an exit plan. He rarely gets hit in that pocket. Yes, he has those exchanges, but he's really good at reading his opponents. So to copy Max, you don't need to learn to throw 400 punches in a round. Just learn to read reactions. His secret isn't actually his cardio. His secret is composure. We can learn from that and apply that to our training. Again, like I said, it takes a special person to point on the floor in the last 10 seconds of the round and challenge them straight up. I wouldn't recommend copying that. At number 3, I have Georges St. Pierre, GSP. He arguably may be the most balanced fighter in MMA history. What makes him worth copying is his tactical mind. I actually made a video not that long ago where I compared GSP and called him the Batman of MMA. So you might want to check that video out after you watch this one. Every move he has, like Batman, is calculated. It's built off of rhythm, timing, and really smart decision making. He may not give you a viral knockout video, but he'll give you a masterclass in control. His control tactics are almost second to none. He has phenomenal striking, great MMA wrestling, one of the best takedown artists in the game of all time. And what makes GSP so special and motivating to copy is that he doesn't even come from a wrestling background. He actually has a karate background, but he used his knowledge and experience in karate, that explosive in and out movement, for his explosivity in wrestling for his takedowns. So he's somebody we can learn from on how to transition from one art to another. And he did that so well in MMA altogether. He was a master at blending styles, like a true mixed martial artist should be. So with GSP, we're learning to copy his adaptability. Learn when to wrestle, learn when to strike, and just to make your opponent think when you're going to do either. At number 2, I have Alexander Volkanovski. He's the blueprint for MMA efficiency. Volk combines high fight IQ with micro adjustments. Things like hand traps or switch stances or feints, he always has his opponents guessing. Much like someone like GSP, Volkanovski is very well rounded. He doesn't have one particular weakness. If there's one takeaway that we can grasp from Alex Volkanovski, is his ability to use the right tool for the right moment. I mean, all the greats know how to do this, but I find Volkanovski is among the best at it. With him being typically shorter than most of his opponents, he is great at judging range and distance. He'll use his inside leg kicks to judge the distance between him and his opponent's lead leg. He knows how to use his jab to close the distance. He's got it all, and he's well-rounded, and pairing all of that together makes him a very dangerous opponent and a great fighter to mimic. Now, before I reveal the number 1 person I think we should mimic, let's go ahead and reveal that fighter that I said in the beginning that I think we shouldn't, but almost did make the list. That person is none other than Jon Jones. Now, Jon Jones will go down as one of the greatest of all time. He's supremely talented, but he's also very unpredictable, and his alien-level creativity is what made him so great. So that's a hard thing to mimic. Also, a lot of his advantages could be argued come from his actual physical stature. His long reach always gave him an advantage. If you notice, the common theme between the 4 fighters that I've covered so far is that these are particularly styles or concepts or methodologies that are easier for us to apply through everyday life. Well, everyday training life, that is. But Jon Jones is very well-rounded. He has great striking, great grappling. Those are things we can look towards. But again, a lot of those are hard to apply for us when you're tying it in with the type of level of creativity that he uses and his unpredictability in the cage. You probably also don't want to mimic his lifestyle. And my number 1 goes to Demetrious Mighty Mouse Johnson, the guy who makes mixed martial arts look like art. Every transition he does is seamless, from striking to grappling to whatever he's able to do in the cage. He is pure timing and technique. He could be the perfect definition of a mixed martial artist. And it's not just his techniques that we can copy or borrow from, his mindset as well. He's also one of the most tactical minds in the game, much like the previous 2, GSP and Volkanovski. And he proves that you don't need to be bigger, just efficient. Now, yes, he's very athletic. Yes, he has really fancy moves in his arsenal. But if you take the base, the fundamentals that he's actually good at, those are things we can copy. His ability to transition between each range is arguably second to none. And the nail in the coffin for putting DJ as my number 1 on this list is a great example is his fight against Rodtang, who was a Muay Thai fighter, where they had a mixed fight of Muay Thai versus MMA. And Rodtang had the advantage. He had the first round at Muay Thai rules, then it would be second round MMA rules, and then so on. They would repeat that sequence if it got that far. But it didn't. DJ was able to weather the storm in the first round, but hold his own against a high-level, elite-level Muay Thai specialist. When it came to the second round, different story. DJ was able to exploit the weaknesses that Muay Thai has against the grappling game and end up tapping out Rodtang. This is something we can borrow if we're looking at overall combat, how to exploit our opponent's weaknesses and value our strengths. And Mighty Mouse Johnson, to me, is the #1 at doing that. So that's my list of top 5 MMA fighters who I believe we should all copy. These are fighters who are worth studying so that we can grasp their concepts and use their tactics. They're not superhuman, they're disciplined and well-rounded. Now again, since this is MMA, we can't really copy their grappling skills, for example, something that's more specific. This video is more geared towards copying how they do things, not necessarily their exact techniques, but we can copy their style and how they approach the game. So if you want to copy greatness, copy the fighters who made fundamentals look cool. In next episode, we're flipping it. I'm going to go over the top 5 fighters who we shouldn't copy. So I hope you enjoyed this Copycat Fighter series where we learn and follow along how we can copy or mimic some of our favorite fighters and maybe some of our favorite fictional characters, at least on how to learn their methodologies, tactics, and some of their techniques and skills. And if you have any suggestions of any fighters you'd like me to cover or any topics and concepts you'd like to mention, please leave so in the comments. And if you haven't yet, please hit the like button, hit subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and you'll get to follow along on my Copycat Fighter series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.